There's a housing shortage of over 4 million homes in the US. And with Donald Trump going back into the Oval Office, many are wondering what his policies could mean for the housing market. From promises of lower mortgage rates to potential changes in immigration and economic policies, this presidency could mean some big shifts in the housing market. Hey everyone, I'm Shakelia LeBlanc, aka the Loan Slayer, helping you say hello to your new home. And today I'm breaking down what a Trump presidency could mean for housing, how realistic these changes are, and what you should consider as a homeowner or future buyer. Let's dive in. First, let me preface this by saying that the Trump campaign did not have a housing proposal. So, this is based on what he has shared at rallies, interviews, and of course, his previous track record. Number one, we're talking about mass deportation of immigrants. A major policy Trump has talked about over and over is mass deportation of immigrants. And this could have a significant impact on the housing market. The discussion around immigrants often focuses on rental demand and this thought that they are somehow taking up all of the housing. But the truth is that newer immigrants, especially undocumented workers, are often living with family and friends. But the bigger picture is that immigrants make up 30% of all construction workers nationwide. They hold essential roles in building homes, apartments, and infrastructure. So, if a large number of immigrants are deported, the construction industry would face a shortage of skilled laborers. In turn, that shortage would likely increase labor costs for home builders and developers. As labor costs rise, so do home prices because it costs more to build each unit. So, for anyone looking to buy a home, this means higher prices and fewer new homes available. And with the demand for affordable housing already high, this could make it even harder for buyers to find homes within their budgets. Number two, Trump has made big promises about lowering mortgage rates.
We will drive down the rates so you will be able to pay 2% again, and we will be able to finance or refinance.
While this sounds great, the president doesn't directly control mortgage rates. Rates are largely influenced by the Federal Reserve and broader economic conditions. Rates tend to move based on inflation, employment, and overall market trends, not solely on what the president says. If Trump implements policies that help lower inflation and increase economic stability, we could see some rate relief over time, but we shouldn't expect immediate or drastic drops in rates just because he's back in office. Realistically, mortgage rates are likely to stay influenced by the Fed and other economic factors. Number three, Trump has made deregulation a major focus in his plans to address housing affordability. At the end of his first presidency, he signed an executive order called Eliminating Regulatory Barriers to Affordable Housing, which aimed to reduce the costs associated with building homes by cutting unnecessary regulation. This could serve as a blueprint for his next term. During his campaign, Trump committed to slashing regulations and permit requirements, which experts say can significantly drive up the cost of new homes. In fact, according to the Terwilliger Center for Housing, 24% of the cost of single family homes and about 41% of the cost of multifamily homes can be traced directly to regulatory costs at the local, state, and federal levels. Reducing these costs could theoretically make housing more affordable. Trump went as far as saying he wants to cut the cost of a new home by half by eliminating regulations that add to these costs. But here's the catch. While deregulation could lower the cost for home builders, it's not guaranteed that those savings will be passed directly to home buyers. Developers may lower home prices, but they may also keep prices steady and increase their profit margins instead. So while deregulation could help, it's not guaranteed to fix home affordability. Number four, increased tariffs. So another factor to consider is Trump's stance on tariffs, particularly on imported materials like lumber, steel, and aluminum. During his campaign, he proposed a 10 to 20% tariff on all imports and a much steeper 60 to 100% tariff on goods from China. These tariffs would make building materials significantly more expensive, especially for items like steel and aluminum that are often sourced from overseas. As experts point out, any tariffs that raise the cost of these products will flow directly to the consumer.
Hell no.
Builders would face higher costs to purchase the materials they need, and these costs would be passed down to the home buyers. For new homes, this could result in noticeably higher prices, putting even more pressure on an already tight housing market. So, if these tariffs go into effect, we could see higher overall home prices, especially for new construction, as builders try to cover their increased expenses. Combined with the potential shortage of construction workers, tariffs could make the affordability crisis even tougher for first time homebuyers. Number five, another big potential shift under a Trump presidency is the privatization of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These two agencies are crucial in the housing market because they buy mortgages from lenders, which provides more liquidity to the mortgage industry and helps keep rates stable and affordable. Now, just a little background. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac operated as private companies before the 2008 financial crisis, but they had an implicit government guarantee, a safeguard that ultimately stepped in to rescue them when the housing market collapsed and mortgage defaults surged. Since then, they've been under a government conservatorship, which has allowed them to focus on making homeownership accessible to a broad range of borrowers, including those with lower credit scores or smaller down payments. Now, Trump and his allies have proposed privatizing these agencies, which would mean they'd be run as private companies with a profit driven focus. This could mean higher mortgage rates for many buyers, particularly those who don't have pristine credit or large down payments. Without the government's oversight and emphasis on affordability, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac might be less likely to support loans for first time homebuyers and borrowers with moderate incomes. This could make it harder to get affordable loans, especially for middle and lower income buyers. Now, experts have warned that privatization could limit the availability of affordable loans, which might reduce homeownership opportunities for many Americans. It's a potential change that could reshape the entire mortgage industry. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on if this administration moves forward with it. It's also worth mentioning that with the Senate already in Republican hands, if the House also turns Republican, it could be easier for Trump to pass some of these policies. So when the president's party controls both chambers of Congress, there's usually less opposition, which makes it simpler to push through legislation. So while all of these changes aren't guaranteed, a Republican controlled Congress could make some of these a lot more likely and easier to pass. Just some personal advice and opinions for any viewers watching and preparing for the future. Now that we've gone through some potential impacts, my honest advice is remember that the housing market is largely driven by the economy and market conditions, not who the president is. So, regardless of who's in office, there are steps that you can take to prepare for any market and any condition. Ultimately, be proactive, make decisions based on your financial goals, and don't get too caught up in political promises when it comes to your personal finances. So that's my take on how another Trump presidency could impact the housing market. It's always important to stay informed, but also remember that no president has full control over the market. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more insights, and let me know in the comments how you're preparing for the future. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.